At this point in the history of Mortal Kombat, we've traveled from the arcades to the home consoles, from Earthrealm to the DC Universe, and everywhere in between. It's a journey that has thus far taken us from 1992 to 2008. But for the history of Mortal Kombat Part 4, I'm gonna take you back to the past.
To play the shitty games that suck ass.
Well, yeah, for the most part. Every successful series has tried their hands at spin-offs somewhere along the way, right? What the hell is a spin-off anyway? Well, the online definition I found was a byproduct or incidental result of a larger project, which sounds about right to me. Without spin-off titles, we'd never have gotten the GameCube classic Luigi's Mansion. Hell, we wouldn't have Mario Kart if it weren't for taking an established series and iterating on it in a completely new way. But trying your hand at something new can also yield unforeseen results. October 1st, 1997 saw the release of Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero. The game is a side-scrolling action-adventure title obviously set in the MK universe, taking place before the events of the first Mortal Kombat game. At a glance, any fan of the series can see why this would be interesting. A prequel focused on one specific character's storyline, with answers to so many of the questions we've conjured up throughout the years? Where do I sign up? I signed up at Hollywood Video with my brother because it was 1997 at the time, and renting games was still the cool thing to do. I remember both of us sitting down in the glow of our fucked up TV that had been handed down to us that would sometimes turn green for some reason, and we were ready to learn as much as we could about the Lin Kuei warrior we knew so little about. The first thing we thought was, wow, this looks really cool. Scorpion issues a fairly muffled and hard to understand warning before scurrying off like Skeletor.
You will fail.
And then it's off to the races. For the first time ever, we are not bound to just one screen in Mortal Kombat. The controls are exactly like any other MK game you've ever played, and that's the first problem. This isn't just a 2D fighting game. It almost feels like one when you're in combat, but trying to fight any of the enemies is a nightmare, as jumping over your opponent leads to you facing the opposite direction. And we can't just turn and throw a high kick, no, we have to land, press the turnaround button, and plan our attack from there. I don't know who thought this was a good idea, but they're a total fuckface.
We've got the godfather, the doctor of video games, Eugene Jarvis. What do you call yourself?
Face.
Through beating enemies, we gain experience points and new abilities, like the Ice Blast and the Slide Kick. The enemies are... Alright, hold on. The enemies are bullshit. They always get the jump on us because we're too close to the edge of the screen. Look at the classics like Castlevania. Our sprite is much smaller and we are dead center. We can react to anything with a fair amount of time. Now look at Mythologies. The amount of room that is wasted behind us is larger than the amount of room in front of us, where all of our enemies and environmental hazards lie. This might sound like run-of-the-mill shitty gamer complaining, but I have proof that this is not just me that has trouble here. In the game's making of feature, the lead graphics designer is demonstrating gameplay. Even he gets blindsided by an enemy without having enough time to react.
One thing you want to do is be very careful when you're running into rooms because there could be a monk right behind a door.
He worked on the game and he's not ready for the enemies. Come on. Early in the game, I'm talking the first level, we come face to face with these crusher gimmicks. Coming anywhere near them will smash you into a million pieces.
I gotta go. Fucking motherfucker! Back up, trick. Oh, motherfucking god damn it!
The trick is to trigger them with a high kick, and then sprint underneath when the crusher is retracting back into the ceiling. For the sake of getting through this in a timely manner, we'll skip over the frustration of what it's like trying to figure out that that's what you're supposed to do, as well as the frustration of having to juggle fighting multiple enemies with multiple crushers in the same room. Trying to explain stiff and unresponsive controls in a video game is like watching people eat really spicy foods. It just doesn't translate unless you're the one experiencing it firsthand.
Now they're gonna start doing that shit!
After beating Scorpion and finishing the first level, we get our initial cutscene, which on the PlayStation version is presented through full motion video with real actors. Some of the acting is pretty good, but some of it is downright terrible, but we've come to expect that from Mortal Kombat.
Once again, our most cunning assassin and thief is successful. At ease, Lin Kuei warrior.
Greetings,
I see the ninja has been successful in retrieving my map.
The thing that stands out to me here is how awesome Quan Chi looks, compared to how lame Sub-Zero looks. Quan Chi's costume is super detailed, his makeup is great. Meanwhile, the star character looks cheaper than the first $30 costume I found on Amazon. That's a great way to sell your game, right? Any non-gamer would look at this and say, oh, who's that guy in the face paint? I want to play as him. Also, why is Sub-Zero standing like he's in an elevator that's falling down a shaft and he's bracing for impact? Never mind.
Something straight. I am not a ninja. I am Lin Kuei. Scorpion was a ninja.
Side note, there's a callback to this cutscene in MK vs. DC Universe. The image of Sub-Zero crawling over the mountain is nearly identical. I didn't notice this until I was working on this documentary, so if it was news to you, it was news to me too. Level 2 has us looking for the wind element, and it's all about platforming. We're jumping from rock to rock, and we need the wind to blow to carry us across certain gaps that are too large for a normal jump. The wind gusts have no discernible pattern, and standing around like an asshole waiting for it to blow can be extremely inconvenient. After a few rounds of this, we reach the spoons. Now obviously they're not real spoons. These are platforms that are connected to these windmills that we have to jump across to get from point A to point B. But I want to know why these windmills spin 360 degrees, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Whoever put that... never mind. Getting from one of these spoons to the next is a pain in the ass because it's nearly impossible to judge when you're supposed to jump. The best strategy I could come up with was not waiting until it's in front of me, but jumping as soon as it broke the edge of the screen and becomes visible. Even then, this only works a good, I'd say 60% of the time. You know what's odd? Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero wasn't the first game to mix 2D side-scrolling action with platforming and Mortal Kombat controls. That honor goes to Batman Forever, for some reason. I don't really know how Midway could have been beaten to the punch on their own idea, and I also can't figure out how they could have played this pile of shit and thought, yeah, that's what we should do. But here we are. The worst part of it all is that I rented both of these games, Batman Forever and MK Mythologies, over and over as a kid. I never really enjoyed them. I was consistently frustrated by them, but I wanted to see more. I wanted to know what was going to happen at the end of the story. Unfortunately for me, Mythologies is extremely difficult, even as an adult, and I do not have the patience nor any interest in trying to complete it. I've always thought it was pretty common knowledge that Mythologies was dog shit, but looking back at the review scores, you'd never know it. I don't know what the fuck Jeff Gerstmann from GameSpot was thinking giving it a 7.5 out of 10. IGN's 3 is way closer to what was widely felt today, and is a score I can agree with. I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan, and I would never celebrate a failure for a franchise I love, so it does suck that it turned out this way. Sub-Zero was the first character to receive the Mythologies treatment, but he'd also be the last, as the plan to turn Mythologies into its own series was cancelled shortly after the game's release. Even with the cancellation of Mythologies, the completely unnecessary world of Mortal Kombat spinoffs was just getting started. Could the team at Midway take what they learned from Mythologies and put it together into something that would make the next game better? Or are we destined to play yet another horrible Mortal Kombat spinoff? In just 3 years' time, we'd have our answer. Mortal Kombat Special Forces was the next attempt at broadening the Mortal Kombat horizons. A third-person action-adventure game starring Major Jackson Briggs hunting down members of the Black Dragon one by one? Machine guns, sniper rifles, explosives, brand new characters. This sounds excellent, right? After the badly botched attempt that was MK Mythologies, you've got to think the team in Midway would really buckle down and get this one right. And then you pop the disc in and check out the opening cinematic. What the fuck is this? Disco music? The special effects and backgrounds look like something out of a junior high practice project in a low-level art class, and I can't shake a weird blaxploitation vibe.
He's the baddest dude with the biggest gun. He's savage.
Let me be completely transparent and honest up front. The first time I've played Special Forces was for this documentary. Every other Mortal Kombat game in history I eagerly awaited. I snatched it up as soon as I could, and I spent as much time with it as possible. Something about this game never called to me as a kid. I was 10 when it came out, and over the years I came to know it as a complete pile of shit, so I steered clear. Is it really the piece of shit I've known it to be over the years? Let's find out. Well, oh man, the controls are extremely stiff. And by that I mean sometimes when you press the D-pad to turn Jax through the environment, he just doesn't move. If you're near a wall or a door, he's staying put. This gets old really, really quickly. When it comes to the combat, they've dropped the classic Mortal Kombat control scheme. What they've replaced it with is somehow worse. At least Mythologies had the normal MK cat and mouse game of sweep kicks, uppercuts, high and low punches. You can win any of the Special Forces hand-to-hand fights by simply pressing the X button until your opponent falls down. Increasingly intricate combos can be unlocked by running through enemies and gaining experience points, but it doesn't do much in the way of improving the gameplay. Each and every fight is a joyless rock'em sock'em button masher without an ounce of strategy in sight. The camera is something else. What is this angle? We go from oddly oriented overhead shots to standard behind the character third-person angles, and holding L1 switches us to a first-person view. I'm not sure what this view is for. Scanning around the room takes forever, and the draw distance leaves much to be desired, so we can't see exceptionally far. I really feel like the first person option is here just to give the player a way out of having to walk down long hallways, which goes to show you how confident the developers were in the level design. The first level is a boring whirlwind of fist fights, key cards, locked doors, and elevator rides. At the end of each level, we get a boss fight, and our first boss is No Face. No Face's only Mortal Kombat appearance is this one right here. He's got no ears, no nose, no nothing outside of a flamethrower and grenades. How do we get past a tough customer like this? Well, easy. Let him throw his bombs and shoot his fire, sneak up, and literally press X 1,000 times. He's not smart enough to try and put distance between the two of us and throw more bombs, so he'll just keep swinging and allowing us to beat him to the punch. My advice? Don't try and throw any fancy combos or he might slip in a punch of his own. The safe bet is X all the way. Several other characters make their debuts here as well. Gemini is Jax's teammate. She dishes out mission information before we head into battle. Also, we never even see her in the game, and this is the only time she's ever been mentioned, so that's that on Gemini. Tasia is a ninja who comes complete with dual swords and the ability to teleport. She's a boss fight, and after that, you'll never see her again. Tremor is the star of the show here. He's got the classic MK ninja look, which automatically makes him interesting to the fanbase. We are all guilty of this. And his special moves come in the shape of geokinesis, or the ability to move and meld the earth to his liking. Tremor was the only debuting character to not be a one and done, as he would, after many years of requests, finally return as a downloadable fighter in 2015's Mortal Kombat X. Dan, I could endlessly reiterate how boring this game is, but going beat for beat, detail by detail, level by level, telling you how much it sucks would be just as boring as playing the game itself. The game sucks, you know it sucks, but what's most interesting is even Midway seemed to know it sucked. Several key players, including Mortal Kombat co-creator John Tobias, left Midway while the game was still in development. The team was fractured, production was all kinds of fucked up, and things were quickly going off the rails. The N64 and Dreamcast versions of Special Forces were quickly cancelled. Sonya Blade was supposed to be a second playable character, though that was obviously removed. Ed Boon has publicly disowned the game, openly stating, "I did not work on Special Forces. The game and project were riddled with all kinds of problems. I could write a book on that." The game is widely regarded as the worst of the Mortal Kombat games and is commonly listed as one of the worst games of all time.
Number 5. Mortal Kombat Special Forces.
The most unfortunate part of Special Forces being another complete commercial and critical failure is that once again all future Mortal Kombat side projects were put on hold. Solo games starring Baraka and Liu Kang were in very early discussions, and only one of those games would end up seeing the light of day. Released on the PlayStation 2 and original Xbox in September of 2005, Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks was the third and final MK spin-off. The game retells the events that take place between Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat 2, opening with a beautiful cinematic that shows the final moments of the original tournament. All hell has clearly broken loose as Sonya Blade battles Kano, Reptile snacks on Johnny Cage's head, Scorpion and Sub-Zero's rivalry continues to boil over, and Kung Lao shows up with one of the coolest entrances of all time. Now, Dan, as I am well aware that we are 0-2 on Mortal Kombat spin-offs so far, but fear not, I have excellent news. Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks is a fucking excellent game. For the first time in any of these side projects or spin-offs, whatever you want to call them, Ed Boon is on as the creative director, and it definitely makes a difference. We don't have to worry about adjusting new ideas to the classic MK control scheme like Mythologies tried and failed to do. We don't have to fight the camera in an attempt to simply see where we're going like was necessary in Special Forces. Shaolin Monks debuts a brand new gameplay device called the Multi-Directional Fighting Engine, which, in short, means that we can comfortably battle swarms of enemies all at the same time. Square, triangle, and circle all contain different attack types which can be modified by holding the R1 button. Experience points gained by killing enemies and defeating bosses can be spent to upgrade our existing attacks or unlock new ones. Fatalities are triggered by filling a meter and tapping L1, and dozens of varied finishing moves can be unlocked over the course of the game. Mortalities are brand new and serve to kill as many on-screen foes as possible. Brutalities make their return here, granting us unlimited one-hit kill projectile attacks for a set amount of time. The sheer amount of flexibility in the gameplay department isn't restricted to just combat though. Over time we learn new ways to traverse the environment, like the ability to jump across further distances, to climb on walls, and to swing from one pole to the next. Each one of these traversal tricks opens up brand new areas on the map which were previously inaccessible, encouraging the player to revisit seemingly completed levels. I want to take an extra second to talk about the multiplayer function here. The entire story of Shaolin Monks can be played cooperatively, meaning that you and a friend can sit down together and run through the full story as a team. And even better than that, after you've completed the game, Scorpion and Sub-Zero are unlocked, so you can play through again as a completely different character or team. Sure, they still have Liu Kang and Kung Lao's voices and mannerisms during the cutscenes, but who cares? By the time you've unlocked the ninjas, you've played through the whole story anyway, so this is all previously charted territory. The events of Shaolin Monks taking place between Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat 2 means that we get to revisit stages we first laid eyes on back in 1993, but this time with way more freedom. The Living Forest was always a spooky place, but being untethered from the confines of 2D gameplay means we get to explore the entire landscape on our own. There were always rumors of a secret stage fatality in MK2 involving one of the Living Forest trees eating your opponent. In traditional Mortal Kombat fashion, Shaolin Monks saw the 12-year-old rumor come to life. That is awesome. Other callbacks include encountering Reptile atop the pit while an obstruction passes by the moon, finally finding out who the glowing eyes belong to down in Goro's lair, and many, many more. I wouldn't dare spoil all these little surprises, as they're one of the best parts of the game. It's not all exploration though. Each level ends with an insane boss fight. And being that Shaolin Monks is non-canonical to the ongoing story, all bets are off. The creative team didn't have to worry about who to keep around so they could appear in Mortal Kombat 3 or Mortal Kombat 4. Each fight can end with a horrific fatality, as any Mortal Kombat battle should. Reptile's boss fight comes at the end of the Living Forest level and has us first dispatching of the guard in his lair, a lightning-fast, nearly 200-foot-long snake. We obviously can't go toe-to-toe with this beast, and instead have to take the entire building down to defeat him. Unlike his quickly crushed guard, Reptile's death is measured and brutal. At the end of the game, we're faced with a trio of boss fights in Khan's arena. First up is the newly youthful Shang Tsung, who morphs into different combatants as the fight goes on. When it's all said and done, our fatality features a sequence straight out of the first MK movie, and a satisfying snap of the sorcerer's neck. Up next is Kintaro, and holy shit does this game do him justice. He's enormous, destructively powerful, and he's not to be taken lightly. After a long and hard battle, Kintaro's death may be the most brutal of them all. Shao Kahn is the main event, and goodness fucking gracious is this fight hard. It is of utmost importance to not make a single mistake, as Kahn will take advantage of each and every one of them. It takes the combined strength of Raiden, Kung Lao, and Liu Kang to put the Emperor of Outworld away for good. Side note, Scorpion has no patience for our bullshit in Shaolin monks. Yes, that's real. I don't know if any games were talked about in the recess playground as much as Mortal Kombat was when I was growing up. Everyone was talking about secret fatalities, secret levels, secret characters, secret everything. Shaolin Monks takes the Mortal Kombat secret days of old and runs with it. Unlocking the Fist of Ruin ability allows us to break giant statues that block secret paths. One such path leads to the Warrior Shrine, the statue-filled battleground as seen in Mortal Kombat 1. Interacting with each statue reads the name of the fighter. We've got Sonya, Goro, Liu Kang, but who is that? Interacting with the Mystery Man statue 3 times causes it to explode, releasing Ermac, which triggers a hidden boss fight. This, of course, is a callback to the MK1 rumor Electronic Gaming Monthly published more than a decade prior. In 1993, a reader by the name of Tony Casey claimed to have encountered a red ninja named Ermac, but was unable to make him appear again, noting, "I think it has something to do with the Warrior Shrine." Midway, you tricky bastards. Another excellent reference to the past can be seen by accessing a secret area in the Living Forest. The mysterious Grey Ninja, Smoke, was first seen in 1993, peeking from behind the trees, so to find him hiding here once again is no shocker. Only this time, he issues us 5 specific missions of increasing difficulty. And what's our prize at the end of the day? How about a fully playable version of Mortal Kombat 2?
Flawless victory. Fatality.
That is badass. The greatest secret hidden inside of Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks is the survival mode. It's rumored that survival was supposed to be a highlighted feature in the main menu, but it was cut due to time constraints. It took fans over a year to find out that survival was hidden somewhere in the game, and when you find out how they found it, you're gonna shit your pants. Survival mode can be accessed only through the Foundry level. There are 11 steps that need to be followed thoroughly, and I'm gonna speed through them for the sake of your time. The video I'm using to show you this can be seen on YouTube. First, we jump in and out of the lava. Next, we go through several key entrances and grab a giant axe. Head down the tunnel to the save statue and smash the barrel. Head into the center of the level, turn left and smash the barrel closest to you. Head around to the smaller room, smash another barrel. Make your way to the rock crusher and smash the barrel next to the and then smash the ground. A green portal appears and interacting with it transports you to survival mode. Who the fuck figured this out? Back in the day, we would freak out if we pulled off a fatality, and that was like 3 or 4 buttons mixed together. But to be in a certain room and smash a certain barrel in a certain order with a certain character and a certain weapon and jump in and out of lava, it's insanity. I don't know how it was done, but someone figured it out. Anyway, let's change the subject. It's interesting to note that Shaolin Monks wasn't originally going to follow the Shaolin Monks at all. It was meant to be a single-player game following Raiden, but this idea was scrapped. What's funny is that while the initial idea was all about Raiden, the Thunder God himself isn't playable in Shaolin Monks at all, either in story mode or versus mode. Oh yeah, there's a versus mode. Not only can you team up with a friend and fight through the main story, but you can challenge each other head-to-head in combat as well. Versus mode features several fighters other than the Shaolin Monks themselves, including Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Johnny Cage, Baraka, Kitana, and Reptile, who can be unlocked through discovery and story mode. Versus is frantic, fast-paced, and a lot of fun, and I applaud Midway for including the classic one-on-one combat style powered by a completely new engine. Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks released to excellent reviews. It went on to sell over 1 million copies worldwide. The game was proof that given the right creative team and the proper amount of time, a Mortal Kombat spin-off title could be great. I don't know how popular or unpopular this opinion is with die-hard fans, and I'd love to hear your input in the comments and we'll talk about it, but Shaolin Monks is up there for my favorite Mortal Kombat game of all time. The gameplay is addictive, the level design is exceptional, and the sheer freedom we have to explore the world of Mortal Kombat 2 is unrivaled. No MK spin-off story comes without tragedy though. A sequel to Shaolin Monks called Mortal Kombat Fire and Ice was intended to be the next entry in the new series, but was cancelled when Midway Studios LA closed its doors due to financial issues. Ed Boon stated in 2013 he'd love to develop a true sequel somewhere down the line, and even said that an HD up-res version for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 was being discussed internally, but that was 5 years ago now, and we have had no further update. That's going to do it for the history of Mortal Kombat Part 4, Dan Dan's The Brutality of Spinoffs. Thank you very much for joining me. Next month, we're going to come back one last time to check out the past, present, and future of the series, so make sure you don't miss Part 5. But before that, if you want some more content, you can go to iTunes or SoundCloud and listen to a very special episode of the 616 Entertainment Podcast, where I sit down with a couple of friends and we check out the Mortal Kombat movies. It's been highly requested as the series is going on for me to do the movies, and I thought instead of dissecting it and doing a scripted video like this, I'd sit down with a couple of friends, talk it out, review them, talk about how bad Annihilation is, whatever you want. You can listen to it right now. I love you. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.